welcome to my channel. And if you are a returning subscriber, hi my lady loves, welcome back. I will be doing a paranormal story time where I tell spooky stories about things that I've experienced in my life. One experience where it was very strange. I couldn't really explain it. It had to do with my brother and then, you know, something I saw. So pretty much what had happened was I was getting ready to take a shower. It was probably 9 or 10 at night. I do not remember anyone being in the house, and it was definitely really dark. It had this really dark feeling in there. So I was feeling a little spooked, but I just brushed it off. Before I tell you guys more, I do want to say that before I went to the shower, my bed was fixed and there was nobody in it. Nobody in my bed. For whatever reason, when I go back to the experience, I feel like there was nobody in the house. So I go to take my shower, I come back out, and at the time my room was in the living room of my grandmother's house. So I made my way over there, and as soon as I get there, the strangest thing, I don't even know like why, I don't know how, but my brother is dead asleep on the bed when I knew for sure he wasn't there, but the blankets were fixed over his entire body, like fixed perfectly over him. And I was like, what the heck, like that's very strange, like why, like, you know, it just didn't make sense because nobody was there, and all of a sudden he was knocked out, but the blankets were fixed perfectly over his body. Yeah, so I frantically go to my grandmother's room to, you know, see if anyone's there because, you know, I'm scared. And as soon as I am walking towards the room, I see a white spirit figure in the doorway, and the figure is probably short, I think, because it was around my height exactly. And you know, I didn't even see if my grandma was there. I didn't even get to that point because I see this ghostly white figure in the doorway, and I'm thinking to myself, like, what's going on? Like, what is this? Like, why it's there? You know, and it's shaking its head, you know, like that's, I don't know if, you know, to me it looked like this man was going crazy. I didn't see a face. The spirit, I can only see the back of it, so I have no idea what this man looked like, but it felt to me like it was a male spirit. So that was, you know, the figure that I've seen in my grandmother's room, and I've never seen it again. That's the only time I've ever seen a spirit in her home. So that experience in itself was really strange. I can't really explain how my brother got on the bed, or, you know, how the blankets were even fixed over him, because I know for sure before I went to the bathroom I was alone and nobody was on my bed, and my bed was fixed. Not even pillows were on my bed. It was just a blanket. So that was weird. And then I go to my grandmother's room and there's a whole freaking spirit, like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. After I had seen this figure, I literally just went straight to my room, and that was that. And it's so strange how nobody was home, and I felt like I knew nobody was home. I don't remember where they were. I just remember I was walking around the house, all the lights were off, so either, you know, whoever was there was asleep and I just wasn't aware, but I just know for sure that my brother was not there before. I don't know where he came from, and I didn't even think to ask him because, for one, I was already freaked out. Two, I did not want to disturb his slumber. I did not want to mess with him. So yeah, that was really creepy. I cannot explain it, but, you know, never seen the spirit again, and that was that. But that was not the end of the mysterious happenings there. So this next story I am going to tell is by far the craziest experiences that have happened to me paranormal wise. It all started when my grandfather had passed away in my grandmother's home, and he got taken. A whole day goes by, and before you know it, we're sitting at the table in the dining room, one light on us, everywhere else is dark. I feel like ever since my grandfather passed, the feeling, it just felt like the entire day just flew by. It was already the next night since my grandfather was found. Me, my mother, and my grandmother are all sitting at the dining room table, and we're conversating about the sad event that happened beforehand. We're kind of sitting there like, wow, can't believe this happened, like, we're so upset. Sitting there, and we're just talking about how we're so upset, but more shocked than anything, because it was totally unexpected. We did not expect for my grandfather to go this quickly. Like, it was shocking to us. And my mother begins to explain, her eerie feeling that she had throughout the entire day. And I could agree, because I definitely felt like the whole vibe in the house was just off ever since, that happened. We pretty much found him in the living room, and, they had to take him, and that was that, and that was it. So it just felt so unreal. It felt like, time had just gone by, and it was just this vibe, that just the vibe in the house was off. I feel like my mother was on the right side, my grandmother was on the opposite side. And after we are becoming aware of the feeling in the house, I start to notice the curtains in the living room are moving on the bottom, and it almost looks like, it just looks like if there's hands that are behind it, and you're doing this. And I'm seeing that, and it's not these curtains over on the right, or everything else is fine, nothing is moving, but just off to the left on the bottom, the curtains are moving. So I'm like, oh my god, Mom, do you see that? Like, the curtains are moving over there, like, do y'all see that? So my mother and my grandmother turn around, and as soon as they do that, my grandmother has a decoration on the wall with lights in the shape of a Christmas tree, and there are ornaments hanging on them, and one of the ornaments, again on the bottom, starts shaking, flies across the room. Boom, just flies. And then it's like, from one thing to the next, we're looking over here, and then once we're looking over here, then we hear the door to my bedroom at the time swing open, and then my mom's dogs come running out. It's all hectic, because these things are happening, one after the other, and I'm so scared. My mother is probably, even more scared than I am, and we're both freaking out, like, oh my god, what do we do? Like, what's going on? And my grandmother's like, hey, like, y'all need to calm down. It's fine. Put the dogs back in the room, like, it's good. And I'm thinking, this is happening because, my grandfather just passed. The vibe is off in the house. Oh my gosh, I'm literally getting the chills. That was crazy. And it was horrifying for me, because I had never experienced anything like that before. So at the time, I'm in my bedroom with my mother and my sisters, and we're all just hanging out in there. It's just us in the house. Nobody is anywhere else in the house. It is only me, my sisters, and my mother. Puppies dreaming. Anyways, so we are all just, hanging out in the room, and we hear a loud crash in the kitchen. So we all jump. We're like, oh my gosh, what is that? So we run to the kitchen, and there's glass all over the floor. And my mother looks at me and she's like, there's no way that could have happened. Nobody's here. And there was a glass, crystal bowl on the counter. It was just sitting up there, and it was pushed right off the counter, and it just broke into a million pieces all over the floor, and it was so loud. But it wasn't, like halfway off the counter, or it wasn't at the edge in any way. I remember seeing this bowl on the counter, so there's no way for it to have fallen on its own, because it was, perfectly aligned where it should have been. So we could not explain that experience. That was just, another random situation that we could not explain yet again. This next story, it is not my story. This is actually something that happened to my mother, and this is one of her startling experiences that took place at my grandmother's house. So one day, my mom is at my grandmother's looking for my uncle, and she can't find him, so she's looking in the backyard. And when she goes to the backyard, she's calling out for him, and she's like, coyote, coyote, like, are you out here? Like, where are you? And so she's looking in the backyard, and then she starts to walk further back, and she sees my uncle in the alley off to the right, speaking with a man she cannot see. So she's like, coyote, is that you? Like, who are you talking to? And he's like, come here, April, come here. Like, I want you to meet someone. And as soon as she hears that, like, she gets this ugly feeling like something's not right. Immediately, she's like, She turns around. She goes back in my grandmother's house, and my uncle is like, April, like, who are you talking to? Like, where were you? And he wasn't even in the house before, so I have no idea, where he was. I just know that she didn't see him, so that's why she went to the back. And who the heck was back there, and why were they calling her? Like, oh my gosh, like, ever since that day, I feel the activity definitely heightened. It had become to a more heightened level. Alright, y'all, this is the second attempt. My camera, it just automatically stopped recording after I had said my last story, and it's never happened before. I filmed 2 other YouTube videos before this, and I've never had that situation happen to me, so that right there I cannot explain. But I guess it's a good way to end out this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I loved making it for you all. And let me know if you like my nails, my makeup look. And if you want me to read you guys' stories, please send them to my email below. I will leave them in the description box. Alright, y'all, make sure y'all are subscribed, y'all are liking my videos, and hitting that notification bell so y'all are notified every time I put out a new video. With all that being said, I hope you have a beautiful day. Bye, my mini loves.